to give you guys the first real look at the brand new Nike Vapor Edge 360 Pro Football Cleats. If you're brand new to the channel, you've just found the best place for football gear and equipment reviews on YouTube. Now, if you clicked on this video, my guess is that you're probably researching football cleats for yourself, maybe one of your kids, or maybe you're just a cleat head like me. Either way, I'm going to be giving you my first impression of these new Vapor Edge 360 football cleats. Now, I've already put out one video on the Vapor Edge Elite cleats. This is gonna be a tiered version that is gonna be priced a little bit lower than that $200 Elite version. I'll be going over some of the differences between that Elite version that I already unboxed and giving you my first impression. I still haven't tested yet. And I do have an unboxing coming up of the Speeds, which is another tiered version that sits below this that's gonna be even a little bit cheaper than this price point. Without further ado, let's get into the details of this cleat. For those of you who follow my Instagram and are familiar with the three different Vapor Edge cleats, the Elite, the Pros, and the Speeds, many of you have been asking me questions, what's the difference between the Pro and the Elite? Now, this is the Elite version right here, and this is the Pro version. So you can see, if I take a step back, that these cleats are very similar in the silhouette. Now, that's because they sit both in the same product line, the Nike Vapors. But there are some key differences and the reason why you have the two different price points. The Elites, if you watch that video, retail for $200 and the Pros retail for $120. Now, while these cleats may look very similar to the Elites, there are some key differences. The first is going to be in the upper of the cleat. This is actually going to be a mesh material very similar to the Vapor Pros from the last 2 years. What that means is you can count on this cleat to be very pliable. As you can see here, just how pliable this is to really conform to the shape of your foot, which means it should be a very comfortable cleat. Now, the Elites actually have a complete fly knit upper, which is gonna be a little bit lighter weight and even gonna be more flexible, more pliable, conforming to your foot. So those should be a little bit more comfortable than what you see in the upper here used in the Pros. One of the other big differences in the Pros versus the Elites is going to be the sock liner in the cleat. Now, the Pros are the only model in the Vapor line this year to use the cuff. The Elites have a sock liner that sits a lot lower than the cuff that you see here, and that's needed because of the upper being fly knit. Now, this cuff is going to be very similar to the cuff that you've seen in the Vapor Pros from the last couple of years. Now, compared to the cuff from last year, this cuff should fit a lot tighter around your ankle while still allow you to slide on and off the cleat, but this should give a lot more comfort to those players who are really looking for that tightness around the ankle. If you take a look at the outside of the cleat, you can tell it still has the shroud, same thing as the Elites that cover the lacing system, but the actual lacing system is going to be different. Now, when you take a closer look at this, you can see that the kind of eyelet structure that they have, you see these silver or gray lines inside that really kind of act like fly wire. That's what I felt like in the Elites, and this is going to be very similar. I know it's a little tough for you guys to see because of the shroud that covers it, but this is going to be very similar to the ghost lacing system on the actual Elite version, which means that it's going to be very easy to pull the cleats in one pull to actually tighten, unlike actually tightening each individual eyelet, something that you may have to do on other cleats similar to the Speeds. Now, this does not utilize the one pull tab system used on the Elites. It does have your traditional laces, but again, they're gonna be easier to pull and tighten because of the system that acts like fly wire. You have the upper that's gonna be super pliable and moldable to your foot, and then you can actually tuck and hide the laces down inside. As far as the plate goes on the bottom, this is a different colorway than the Elites, but this is going to be an identical plate just like last year where the Vapor Pros and the Elites use the same plate. This is going to be an all-new plate, the same used on the Elites, but an all-new plate that Nike has developed from last year. Now, the innovation in this cleat is going to see two different separated plates for the heel and the forefoot. If you take a closer look here, you can see that there's actually no plate on the midfoot of the cleat. Now, I did have a chance to sit down with the lead designer of this football cleat, and we chatted about how they really looked at innovating for the future, developing a cleat that players would still want to use in 2024. They started with the overall shape of the cleat, trying to get that very futuristic, fast, sprint-like look, and then they went into developing the midsole and the plate of the cleat. If you take a look at the cross section here of the midsole, they use a material that's going to be very spring-like, like the carbon that we love in the Carbon Vapor 2014s and the original Vapor Carbon Flies. You can see here, even though there is no plate in the middle of the cleat, it's still going to be very stiff. Now, the NFL has requirements on how stiff a plate has to be to prevent injury, so this is obviously going to meet those standards, but what it's gonna do is it's still gonna act very spring-like on the toe of the cleat to give you some of that toe off and acceleration that you're gonna want in a speed cleat like the Vapors. Turning our attention to the back of the cleat, you still see that Nike has a thick heel counter here. It's not gonna be as thick as the ones from last year, but I'm excited to test out just how stable this is going to be. One of the other big innovations in this plate on the Vapor Edge cleats is gonna be these two outside outriggers on the cleat. Now it's a little hard to see because it's in white, but you can see here this outrigger on the outside of the cleat and this one on the inside, also in white. Now all the Vaporline cleats are gonna have these outriggers. You can barely tell by looking at the cleat, but these outriggers actually sit a little bit wider than the cleat footbed itself. This is gonna be a lot like a basketball shoe that's gonna give you ultimate stability and allow you to change direction while remaining stable while you're going full speed. Now Nike just released these cleats. I don't know how many colors they plan on releasing. The Pro models for $120 are usually some of the most popular cleats in the Nike lineup, so I do suspect that they are going to release many, many more colors. There are 5 colors that are available on the Nike site right now. You've got this black and white colorway, black upper with the white Nike swoosh. You've got a white upper with a black Nike swoosh. You've got a white upper with a white swoosh. You have a silver cleat with a black swoosh, and you have the premium version, which is the Super Bowl colorway that has that metallic silver version with the orange and blue swoosh. So those are gonna be options that you can pick from right now. Again, I'm gonna leave a link in the description of this video. I wanna hear from you guys if you guys have already tested these out, or if you see my videos on the Elites or the Speeds, which one you're thinking about getting or which one might just be your favorite. I will be doing a full on-foot review after I get a chance to rigorously test out these cleats. Now, if this video helped you out and you're looking forward to the review, make sure to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll see you guys next time.